All right, joining us now is a five-star, our second five-star Tate that we've had on the show. This is we are five stars only here on this program. He is the number one recruit in the state of Tennessee. I'm calling it. He is from the class of 2022. His name is Skyy Clark. Skyy, I want to start with this. Your name is Skyy Clark. That is an awesome name. It is a fantastic name. Having a great name in the world of basketball almost feels like LeBron. You have Zion. You have Luka now. Skyy is a one-name name. How much do you feel that? What's it like having a name like Skyy Clark?
Nah, it's amazing because you could do so much things with it. And I've been trying to create a logo, and there's just so much you can do with Skyy and the fact that I can jump. So
yeah. But was there ever a point in your life where you didn't like your name? Like, did you get picked on when you were like in kindergarten and guys were like, "That's a weird name" or anything like that? Not like that. Has it always been cool? Have your friends always thought you have a cool name?
I'm pretty quiet at school.
Okay.
But once you get to know me, I'm like the loudest person. But so yeah, I've never really had a problem with it. I've always loved it.
Okay. And Skyy, we have to ask. You just mentioned this. You said with your name, you're trying to create a logo of some sorts. I mean, you're a five-star recruit in the 22 class for people that don't know, and you have there's not just the basketball that matters now, right? There's the whole show that goes along with it. There's the building of the brand. You talked about your own logo. You have Skyy. I mean, I'm a Jordan fan, so, first in flight, a jump man of sorts. You can jump into that mold if you need to. But what is it like to have to build a brand in your mind while you're also trying to figure out who you are as a person and as a basketball player at the same time?
It's fun because it also, like you said, trying to find yourself as a person. It really helps you find yourself as a person just because you really got to think of like what you love to do and what you want to represent and all that. So it's been a fun stuff. We got some stuff in the works that I'm trying to get out soon. So.
Well, one of the things I read was that you're close with Gilbert Arenas, and he has bequeathed the nickname Hibachi to you. Is this correct? You're nodding along, so I assume it's correct. How does that work? Do you have to apply for that? Is there like a review board? Does Gilbert Arenas because I imagine there are a lot of guys that Gilbert Arenas knows that are like, yo, let me take over Agent Zero or Hibachi or whatever else. And he's like, you're not good enough. But you are good enough. You have earned the right. So how does that work?
Well, we actually, before I even started playing basketball, we lived across the hallway from each other in an apartment complex.
Oh, really? Across from Gilbert Arenas? No kidding. Wow.
It was like second, third grade. And then him and my dad became good friends. And then me and my siblings became best friends with with their kids. And so we would always be over at their apartment. They would come over to ours. It was literally like a 2-step walk. It was literally right across the hall. And then, I started working out with him. And when I was a freshman, and we played one-on-one, and I beat him. I'm still undefeated against him. No, he's not.
Oh, wow.
But I would take those dubs. And it was just earned.
What is the sort of timeline for you? Like, what is the age group of players that you look up to that you're like, I want to be like so-and-so. I want to be like a Kobe Bryant. I think we've seen the Kobe Bryant's one of your favorite players. Is that more of your era, like the T-Mac, Vince Carter, Kobe, early 2000s era? Or is it more would you say point to a Russell Westbrook, James Harden? Like what kind of group of guys do you look up to as your idols in basketball, I guess?
My favorite era is the 80s, 90s.
What?
Yeah.
I think you're going to be successful, Skyy.
Skyy, I read you're a big Tupac guy too. Do you have a birth certificate? Are we sure that you're
Is this a Danny Almonte situation? How old are you, Skyy?
I saw you love to fish as well, and I'm like, is this guy like 33? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, my parents, they just raised me. Like, I was born in Minnesota, which a lot of people don't. And my parents just raised me that way. We grew up fishing. I grew up on old school music, so I know all the old school rap songs. I know all the jazz songs, like back to like 50s, 60s, rock, like any genre. So yeah.
The kids are all right. That's what we're learning. The kids are all right.
You just recently announced your Final 8 schools. Your Final 8 is in no particular order. I'm going in order of the graphic you put out. Tennessee State, Memphis, North Carolina, Kentucky, Michigan, UCLA, Oregon, and USC. I noticed there is no Ohio State on that list. I also went through your Twitter account and saw Ohio State offered you. What the hell? What's going on here, Skyy? Like, what do we got to do here? I mean, like, what's going on?
Nah, the list is not nothing set in stone. It can change.
Okay, all right.
Oh, wow,
I
it's a
love
fluid
that.
list.
Oh,
That's good to
fluid
know.
list. In all seriousness, what goes behind putting out a final eight? This is something Tate and I talk a lot about. Is like we're just fascinated by the process of the recruit. How do you cut your lid? Why 8? Why not 6? Why not 9? Why not 10?
Is it MySpace related? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Nah, it was actually I started off. I was gonna do top 5, and then picking 5 schools was hard, so I went 6. Picking 6 schools was hard, so I picked 7. And then USC called me the day before I was gonna put it out and said they offered me about like a year ago, but I never knew.
Oh.
And then so I made it 8.
One of the schools on your list is UCLA. The other 5-star that appeared on our program committed to UCLA. His name is Peyton Watson. You guys are you're pretty close. You say. How much is Peyton recruiting you now that he's a UCLA Bruin? Is he telling you to come back home to LA where you belong? Is that a thing that's happening?
Yeah, he told me, but he hasn't talked to me much about it. But I know he has a lot going on over there.
Yeah,
but I'm just happy for him.
Does that go on for real? Like, do guys like collude? Like, collude's probably too strong. That makes it sound like sinister. But do guys, because that's kind of how it feels from the outside, is when like a great recruiting class for one specific school forms, you just assume that guys are calling each other. So like, you're uncommitted right now. Do you have guys that have already committed places that are calling, are like, hey man, I need, I'm a 5-star wing. I need a point guard that's going to give me the ball. Like, you should come play with me. Does that go on, or you just turn off all that noise and just focus on the coaches that are talking to you?
Yeah, I focus on the coaches, but there's players that are committed and uncommitted that have texted me, but that definitely goes on. Trust me.
Yeah, that goes on.
They're recruiting. BJ Boston actually recruited. Terrence Clark said BJ Boston recruited him to Kentucky, I think like when he was a junior, and so that's how. And then they became friends after that. So
interesting.
So Skyy, we have to ask, like, are there, we just saw this in baseball and it came out, there are unwritten rules, right? And there are people say that, these are just the unwritten rules and everybody that knows. And obviously recruiting, we all know that there are unwritten rules. And did someone put you on game? Was it like a Gilbert Arena situation where like, this is what recruiting is, this is how it goes? Or is this something that as you're doing the process, you kind of learn where the line is? Because I always find that fascinating, how much people keep close to the vest and want to share and that whole thought process.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I've had a lot of people tell me like how recruiting is, and a lot of NBA players have told me, and college players, there's been a lot of pros overseas and NBA who have told me like a coach will tell them so and so, but once they get to the college, it's a whole different story, and so it didn't work out for them. But so yeah, you got to kind of take it in mind and really do your research.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a fact-finding thing. Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing about being a 5-star recruit that's getting all this attention? Like, what is the part of your life where you feel like maybe some of your friends that aren't 5-star basketball players are like, dude, what is your life right now? Like, why you have to do what? You're on the phone with who? Like, what's going on?
You're
what's
zooming
like
Tom Izzo? What?
What's the one part of your life you would say is most unusual for a kid your age?
Probably just, I don't know if it's like this for every 5-star, but for me, it's like kids, like my peers and stuff, they're like sometimes like intimidated or scared to come up to me or something because they think I'm like.
Oh yeah.
I just tell them like I'm just a normal kid, just like you.
Yeah, that's got to be weird, man. To like be in the same classrooms with kids and they are just are like starstruck and you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm fascinated too, you're in a class with Emoni Bates, who just recently committed to Michigan State and has all this hype as like he's the next greatest recruit since the last greatest recruit. And, we're trying to keep track of it all, but he obviously has a huge profile and everyone's talking about how he could be this and that. For you, how do you like exist in a class with a guy like that where, you want to pay him his respect and like, obviously he's a great player and all that, but you want to make a name for yourself. What is that like being in the same class, being sized up against a guy like him that is garnering so much attention? And it's good in the one sense that like a lot of guys remember the 2003 draft class just because LeBron was in it. So like all the guys that were drafted with him are like, yeah, I remember it, But then on the other hand, like you're competitive and you're like, I want to be number one. I don't want to just roll over for this guy. So how do you find that balance?
And me and Emoni, we've known each other since 6th grade. Me and him, we both like been on the come up. We both seen each other work out, and and just put in all the work to get where we're at. But I respect his game. I respect him. That's my brother right there. But me and him both know once we get on the court, it's no friends.
Yeah.
He knows it too. It's not no beef or personal nothing, but it's just the way me and him both are. We're both super competitive.
I love it.
I love that too. And we have to ask just about, as you're trying to figure out the schools, you said you're doing the fact finding. Were there certain schools that made the list maybe because of a player or maybe even because of a coach? Like I see Memphis, and immediately in our minds on this program, we say that's Penny Hardaway, right? And that's a guard. So he's obviously going after you. When I see North Carolina, so that's a point guard university, a combo guard like a Kobe White. But is there anything like that you had in making your list, or was it just the coaches in that relationship?
Like Ohio State has Mike Conley.
No. Stop talking. No.
Russell, like a long list.
No.
Definitely the coaches. My relationship with the coach is definitely a huge thing. And like you said, like I just look at the list of point guards that they've produced and how they've continued on throughout the NBA. Because some colleges they produce point guards, but once their point guards get to the league, they don't really sustain like a super long and successful career. And they kind of struggle. So you got to take that into mind that, they're producing NBA players, but how are they playing and succeeding while they're in the league?
Gotcha.
Right.
That's contract.
Before we let you go, I want to talk about the social justice stuff. You're very active. Where does this come from for someone like yourself to be so young and to be so just like socially aware of the world around you and feel like this obligation and this to use your platform and all that kind of stuff?
Well, with social media and the huge following that I have, a lot of people look up to me and they hear what I have to say. And being an athlete, they just tell us to shut up and just do our sport. But we have some of the biggest voices in the world. I feel like every athlete should use their voice.
Skyy, thanks so much, man. Much success to you moving forward. We're excited to watch you develop and end up at a college basketball program. One of these 8 that are on your list. We're excited to follow. And do not make this the last time you come on our show, please. Whether you make your announcement or not, wherever you end up, man, we got to have you back and just like check in on you.
And we'll do all the propaganda you want. Like if you need PR, like on the show, it's like what an amazing game from Skyy. Even if you only had 5 points and played 5 minutes.
Even if you don't play well, we'll accuse all your teammates of ruining it for you.
Yeah. They're not putting you in situations to succeed. That's what we need.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'll definitely do this again.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Thanks, Skyy.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.